Gosh darn it. Gavin Newsom is out here doing the impossible once again, which for him is making any sort of sense at all because he continues to spend an ungodly amount of money on our elections and hair gel, apparently, as well as turning our freeways into a circus for fear-mongering during the No Kings protests, while JD Vance is out here just crushing it with the Marines out in California as they celebrate 250 years of serving and butt kicking. And on top of all of that, we have a new unearthed video showing once again that Gavin Newsom might be addicted to lying just as much as he is addicted to power, which comes to no surprise for us, and more on today's episode of the Adam C. Moreno Show. So like, subscribe, and without wasting any more time, let's dive right in. So to start things off, Gavin Newsom did endorse the anti-Trump protest, which is now known as the No Kings rally. Look at this, suggesting that people use their voice and act peacefully. Look at that.
No kings. A declaration of independence against the tyranny, against lawlessness in the context that there was no rule of law. It was the rule of king. And I think increasingly people are waking up to the rule of law in this country, increasingly appearing to be the rule of dawn. And I hope it's dawning on people how precious this moment is and what's at stake. And so I hope people put a stake in the ground, take the...
What? What in the insufferable Newsom is this? It appears to be the rule of dawn, and I hope it is dawning on people. What are you, a rapper? How long did it take for you to think of that line? I have no idea how you could have said that with a straight face. Please, if you didn't catch it, rewatch it. It is ridiculous. But that is Gavin Newsom on the No Kings protest out in California, which, if you ask me, seem just very bleak so far. Look at this. You see an inflatable, what looks like President Trump. Wow. But I suppose, you know what? This does make me a tad happy to see, people just go get some sun, walk around. Seems like a fine way to exercise on any given Saturday. But, the real tragedy does come as Gavin Newsom is spending all of his time today instilling fear in the hearts and souls of the Californians because he is closing freeways. Look at this. The Governor Newsom press office says California traffic and public safety experts have recommended temporarily closing the freeway to best protect the public. What? Why? This literally makes no sense. They say it's because JD Vance is going to be in Camp Pendleton to, give his awesome speech. But I actually think it's because the governor hates his residents so much that he wants them to suffer so they could blame President Trump rather than have a nice, good Saturday. Look at what Steve Hilton says, Republican candidate for governor who's now the front runner.
I've spoken to people with direct knowledge of what's going on with the closure of the I-5 freeway in Southern California today. This was on the direct orders of Gavin Newsom. It was not requested by the White House, Secret Service, the Department of War, the Marine Corps, Camp Pendleton, anyone connected with today's events. Secondly, Gavin Newsom's claim that live rounds were going to be fired over the I-5 freeway is a lie. That was never the plan. No one was ever going to be put at risk with this event today. This is a despicable political stunt by Gavin Newsom, deliberately inconveniencing millions of Southern Californians, causing chaos and mayhem for one reason only, so he could blame it on President Trump. And he does this on the day when he's running around talking about no kings. It is absolutely outrageous. This is Gavin Newsom's Bridgegate. We cannot go on like this. This guy is not serious. We cannot get change soon enough in California.
Imagine using your platform as governor to instill fear in residents, the people that you're meant to go and battle for. And look at what the White House has to say, in case you don't believe Steve Hilton. Look at this. Newsom is lying. He closed the highway. Not only did nobody at the White House or the Marines ask him to do so, the Marines repeatedly said there are no public safety concerns with today's exercises. Newsom lies and tries to make it about himself. Day ending in Y. Look at this. All training events will occur on approved training ranges and comport with established safety protocols. No public highways or transportation routes will be closed. Then what the heck is going on? Because look at this. This is what millions of people who are using the I-5 every single day see. Look at this. Live weapons over freeway. Do you see this kind of fear-mongering? Are you kidding me? Instead of letting your residents just enjoy a nice Saturday, Gavin Newsom wanted to score political points. For what? For a future presidential run? This is Gavin's California, and it is terrible. It only distracts the drivers. While that is happening, JD Vance is out here with our troops, speaking to them, celebrating them as they celebrate the United States Marine Corps, turning 250 years old. Look at this.
We know that the work you do, protecting our country, putting your lives on the line to defend our way of life, is at the heart of Marine Corps service. Now, when officials try to shift focus to mandating diversity quotas, or they try to inject partisan politics into the American Armed Forces, they impede the Marine Corps' ability to do its best work, and that's why the Secretary of War and the President of the United States have stood so firmly against that crap. Because when you can't operate at your best on the battlefield, it puts everybody's lives at risk. And it's why we're recentering the focus of all of our military, including the Marine Corps, on those timeless values of discipline, readiness, and faith in one another.
Come on. See, this is good. This is presidential. This is professional. Take notes, Gavin Newsom. While one is out here trying to ruin people's days, JD Vance is out here trying to lift up our troops. Remember that. And the reason why I am comparing them a lot today is because look at this. A new poll has recently come out saying that Newsom has somehow convinced people that his name is worth mentioning when talking about future presidents. Look at what I just read. Moreno says that Gavin Newsom is now just 1 point behind Vice President JD Vance in a new 2028 presidential matchup. Vance leads 46 to 45, but the gap is shrinking and fast. Back in July, he had a 3-point lead. Neither has officially said that they're running, but both are acting like it. Newsom's trolling Trump online, and Vance is basically Trump's unannounced heir apparent. The 2026 midterms come first, but yeah, the 2028 chaos is already warming up. I'm shocked. 1 point behind. That is insane, and that means things are getting very, very sweaty. Not just because Gavin Newsom is just leaning in to his pathetic, unhinged nature. That is actually normal for him. But what's shocking is that people actually like this. And here's something else that I could not believe. A few days ago, Gavin Newsom had the audacity to comment on President Trump, saying that he was suffering cognitively and physically. The same man who said that he never saw any signs of decline when it came to President Biden, although the signs were obvious for anyone who was paying any attention. Watch these two clips side by side. I saw this by a poster on X named Maze. Check it out.
I never had, period, full stop. I would be lying to you, and I won't lie to you, as it relates to the direct engagement I had with Joe Biden that ever suggested a cognitive decline. This president appears unhinged, unmoored by reality and facts, seems listless. He seems, dare I say, in decline, cognitively and, dare I say, forgive me, perhaps unfair, physically.
Period. Full stop. Dare I say. My goodness, I swear, Gavin Newsom feels like one of those theater kids back in school, except he never moved on. He never took off the mask. He never stepped off the stage. The stage just got bigger. But what's really terrifying to me is just how effortless it is for him to just lie and manipulate people. This is exactly what makes Gavin Newsom so dangerous. It's that lying and manipulation just seems so second nature to him. But if you thought that was surprising, look at this, because a new report shows that Prop 50, Gavin Newsom's genius plan to redraw the maps to give more power to current and future Democrats, because that's worked out very well so far, right? According to California Secretary of State Elections Division, it has costed the taxpayers $251 million. I am not kidding. Look at this. They transmitted direct payment to county election officials $251 million. Because instead of helping clean up the state or rebuild neighborhoods that burned to literal ashes or do anything else that would have been practical, Gavin Newsom proves once again that he just doesn't know how to handle a budget. He doesn't know how to govern. He doesn't know how to lead people. And he definitely doesn't deserve to be in office ever again. Please. Anyways, that is the video. I'd love to know what we thought about it, from JD Vance to the scary, genuinely scary Gavin Newsom. Do you think they are going to have a head-to-head match in the future? You know, I hope not. But if they do, I think I know who I'm voting for. All right. And in this hypothetical scenario, please let me know who you would cast your vote for in the future in the comments. And as always, if you made it this far, please like, subscribe, turn on the bell, and hope you have a good rest of your day. Episode's over already? Geez, that was fast. Well, they say beautiful things do not last forever, but feel free to watch and listen to another one of these episodes if you're interested in those conversations as well. Also, this next part is huge. Make sure to obliterate that like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never skip a beat. I also have a newsletter where we dive into the news, politics, and ideas that shape our future. If you're interested in signing up, I'd really appreciate that. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.